Deep in the night, two men climb a mountain, carrying a body no one will ever find. No torch, no mourners, no marker waiting. They have sworn an oath to tell no living soul. The man they are burying is the most famous man alive. Emperors wrote to him like sons. Cities emptied their streets to touch him. Philosophers came out from the great city to test him. He chose this. His last command on earth, bury me in secret and never tell anyone where I lie. Why does a man the whole world wants choose to vanish? The answer begins on this road. He had beaten terror in the tombs and honor on the mountain. One warfare remained, the long endurance of the inner desert. For 3 days he followed the caravan east, past the last wells men bothered to name. Then he saw it, a mountain near the Red Sea, a spring, wild palms, absolute stillness. Antony loved the place at first sight, as if God had kept it for him from the beginning. The caravan left him loaves and moved on. The horizon closed behind them, and he was alone. Alone, but not as before. In the tombs, hell had roared at him. Here, the mountain kept its vast silence. This was the harder warfare of the inner desert, the long patience of prayer when consolation is withheld and only faith remains. He said the Psalms into the dark for weeks, and kept saying them when nothing seemed to answer but his own breath.
All these years, old man, and what has it won you? Give up, no one is coming.
Antony did not argue with the whisper. He knelt, kept the hours, and let stillness answer it. He cleared ground by the spring and planted grain, so visitors' bread need not cross the desert. Wild beasts came up for the water at night and trampled every young shoot flat. Why do you harm me when I harm none of you? Depart in the name of the Lord. They never touched the garden again. Even the beasts were learning the sound of his peace. Then a traveler brought word up the caravan road. In Alexandria, Christians were dying for the name. Maximin's persecution, prisons filling with confessors, mines with the faithful. Monks fled the world. Antony walked into it. He went into the prisons and the mines, washing wounds, carrying bread, steadying men before the judge. When the judge banished monks from the city, Antony washed his cloak and stood where he must be seen. He wanted the martyr's crown, not from despair, from love, longing to give back a life for a life. No soldier touched him. The Lord withheld that death, and Antony walked out grieving, like a son refused. Then, on the road home, he understood. He was being kept for the desert, for a longer offering. He keeps me for the desert, to be a martyr to my conscience every day, until I die. He returned to the mountain and tightened everything. A long martyrdom, with no executioner but time. And then the strangest thing happened. The man who fled the world found the world following him. Sick men came, and soldiers and judges. The road to nowhere had become the busiest road in Egypt. Cells spread down the wadis like lamps being lit at dusk. His desert was quietly becoming a city. Strangers who had never seen his face arrived, scanned 100 monks, and never had to ask. They walked straight to Antony. They knew him, the record says, by the joy on his face. One day, teaching the brothers, he stopped mid-sentence and looked up, watching something none of them could see. Far to the north, at that hour, the monk Amun died. Antony watched his soul carried home. Another vision spared him nothing, the whole world strung with snares. He groaned, "Lord, what can pass through?" Humility. Not power, not brilliance. The lowest thing on earth walks under every trap. He never forgot it. Word of the unlettered wonder reached Alexandria's lecture halls. Greek philosophers rode out to be amused. They found an old man plaiting rope in the sun, who rose smiling and brought them water. Tell me, teachers, which is first, the mind or letters, and which gave birth to the other? The mind, they answered. Letters are only its invention. Somewhere behind them, a door quietly closed. Then a man whose mind is sound has no need of letters. Others returned with proofs against the cross. Antony heard them out, then called forward sufferers no argument had healed. He prayed and named Christ crucified. The trembling stilled. The whole mountain went quiet as held breath. We do not persuade with clever arguments. We persuade by what you see. This is Christ's work, not ours. They went down the mountain marveling, and embraced at parting the unlettered man they had come to mock. Then a letter sealed in purple climbed the mountain. Constantine, master of the world, writing to a hermit. The emperor and his sons wrote as sons write to a father. The brothers stood dazzled. Antony did not. Do not wonder that an emperor writes to a man. Wonder that God wrote his law to men. He answered the throne without flattery. Do justice, remember the judgment, be mercy itself to the poor. And write this last, Christ is the only true and eternal King. Years later, a lie crawled up the mountain. In the city, the Arians were claiming Antony as their own. They taught that the Son of God was a creature, something made, and they had used his name. Nearly 90, he came down from the mountain, and Alexandria emptied itself to see the man of God. Pagans pushed through the crowds just to touch him, as though grace itself could be caught by hand. The Son is not a creature. He is the eternal word and wisdom of the Father's own essence. More became Christians in those few days, Athanasius counted, than the city had seen in a year. But he carried a darker sight home to the mountain. The Lord's table, kicked and fouled in a vision. Wrath is coming upon the church, children, but do not despair. She will be restored and shine again. Then he climbed home and grew old the way a mountain grows old, unmoved and slowly shining. 100 years, eyes undimmed, teeth worn to the gums, and something at his root changed forever. One night at the fire, the young monks asked him about the fear of God. He looked puzzled. Children, I no longer fear God, I love him, and perfect love casts out fear. 80 years of war gathered into one sentence. What began in terror had ended, at last, in love. In his 105th year, he knew. He walked down to the outer monks one final time. They circled him like suns around a deathbed. The dying man was the only one smiling. This is my last visitation, children. Do not weep. I am going the way of the fathers. They clung to him and wept. He embraced them gladly, like a man leaving a foreign city for home. Then he went up the mountain with the 2 disciples who served him, to set his house in order. Egypt still honored its beloved dead by keeping them unburied on couches in the houses of the living. Antony called it no honor. The Lord himself was laid in the earth, and on the 3rd day rose. Bury my body in the earth, in a place known to none but you 2 alone. Then the estate of Antony the Great, to Athanasius the bishop, 1 sheepskin and the cloak he slept on. To Serapion the other sheepskin. to the two his shirt of hair. He owned nothing else on earth. Farewell, my children. Antony departs and is with you no more. His face filled with brightness, as though friends had come into the room, and joyful he was gone. 2 men kept their oath. The grave was never found. Humility took the lowest place, even in death. No book made him known, no tomb holds him. God shows his friends, and the desert became a city. Comment below. Which Coptic story should we tell next? Follow Coptic Orthodox for more. Ancient Faith, Modern Media.